Hi guys, I want to just give you a little bit of information for your bodies. If you are someone who has chronic hip tightness and you feel like you have to stretch your hips every morning, every night, every day, and you're just like, I just have chronic hip tightness, my psoas is tight, psoas issues. Let's talk about how we can maybe resolve some of that stuff. Most of us stand, as we've discussed, in a chronic patterning of the tuck. Whether we're standing around in our hips, hanging out, sitting a lot, all of the patterns we've created in our life from different kinds of events and how we emotionally hold. So a lot goes on in the hips and in the pelvis. So here's something you can do to look at the way you're stretching your hips. Most of us, like I said, have some kind of chronic little tuck situation. And then that overstretches this whole front fascial line and the muscles start to strain to try to bring us back to alignment. So there can be a conditional tightening. So we always feel that tightness. So we then think, okay, I'm going to stretch my hips because they're so darn tight. So we go from this tuck into a lunge. And whether we're in class or whatever we're doing, we start to bring our body back into a lunge, and because our body is not used to being open in this way, we bring our leg back, and then the back gets really short. This back line gets really kind of tense, tight, and contracted. So we're told to draw the tailbone down again. And then we get this like stretch through here, and we're like, yeah, I'm really stretching my hip. But what we're doing is we're just recreating this pattern that we have in standing and just taking it to a lunge. So we want to undo that. That does not feel good in my body. We want to take our body back into the natural alignment that it wants to be in. So in standing, we're not going to tuck, we're going to unlock the pelvis and then keep it that way when we go to our lunge. So when we step back, we want to keep the pelvis energy going back and down. We don't want it sliding under and forward. So the pelvis goes back with the leg so that the thigh bone is staying back into the pelvis. Can you see that here? When I stand in this tuck, I'm pushing my thigh bone forward in the joint. We don't want to do the same thing in the lunge. We want to take the thigh bone back in the joint and the pelvis back with it. So we're having energy of the pelvis back, thigh bone back. The stretch becomes different. You're not going to get that huge muscular stretch. You're going to think about polarity. Instead of lengthening the back by tucking, you're going to lengthen the back by just energy of the pelvis down, ribs forward and up. You're going to get a stretch through the whole body. The whole frontal line is going to start to stretch. It's going to feel different. You keep that elongation, that polarity, that two-way stretch going, and you're going to get a different opening, a different stretch, one that you really need. And you're setting your bones into alignment. So here you are. You've got that going. I'm getting some work now. You can breathe and relax or whatever you want to do. And then you come out of it and rest, and then you'll do the other side. So I want you to start playing with this. Tell me what you think, questions, let me know. But we want to start working in a way that we're relating to the bones where the bones want to be, not pushing them around and just only affecting muscular tissue. We want to be addressing the fascial tissue. Thanks for joining.